Hello and welcome to NLJBS Bullshit. I'm Nick Swartz and I'm here to bring you some pretty shitty audio and some really shitty video. And if you're listening to this and you're one of these kind of folks that have reached out to me to help me, I need all the help I can get. Alright, so let me explain my situation. I'm at my place in Clifton Forge up in the mountains, Southwest Virginia, and I got some call-in stuff for the NLJBS hotline, and I want to release like an off-week recording, right? So I bring my tablet to record the audio, the video, my phone to play the voicemails that you guys have left me, my laptop, and the charger, so that I can send the file to my brother, and I forgot the motherfucking device that I use to record the audio with, okay? So because I forgot that device, I just call my brother or text my brother and say it's not going to happen, we're going to have to release it on Wednesday or Thursday. I prefer to release on Tuesdays. He says, yeah, no problem. But the shit gets under my skin, it bothers me, okay? It bothers me that I don't have my shit together, which it shouldn't, because I haven't had my shit together ever. But that's all right. That's not why we're here. So what I'm doing is I got my son's laptop. It turns out there's a recording app on it. I don't think it has Gmail on it. So after I do this, I'm gonna, I guess, download Gmail so that I can then log into this device and send the file off to my brother. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, welcome to NLJBS Bullshit. I'm your host, Nick Swartz. I'm bringing you pretty bad audio and terrible video. I don't know which off-week episode this is. Like I said, I'm in Southwest Virginia in the mountains having Jack and Coke this evening. It's fucking 11 o'clock. But I've had some call-ins, and so we're going to see what happens. I can't fuck around all night, so I gotta figure this out. All right, man. Can't believe I've been entrusted with this. All right, so now my homeboy Seth. So we've been doing these giveaways for Tribal Publishing, and part of the giveaway is on one of these or on, I don't know, somewhere. I don't know if it's Instagram or in a regular episode or one of these off-week episodes, I asked a trivia question of some sort. So my buddy Seth called in. He texted me. He said, yo, I fucked it up and I hung up, but he called back. So this is going to be my first attempt at playing one of these recordings.
Hey, what up? I had to jump in. It was terrible. Either way, I just listened to the call episode, and obviously Hank Williams is your favorite country music songwriter. So, yo, man, you try to win that book. All right, that's me.
All right. Yeah, that was Seth. That's my fucking dog. He's down in Richmond, Virginia, working on Harley Davidsons. I met Seth many years ago. I shouldn't say many, maybe 3-4 years ago, when at the Avail reunion. But he had been a long time listener to NLJBS Bullshit, and we met up at the hotel room, and he fucking laid some really dope weed on me from Colorado when he was living out there at the time. And we kicked it that weekend. He's a fucking great guy. He's getting tattooed at Alley Cat all the time. He's home team now. So anyway, he's correct. The greatest American songwriter to ever live is Hank Williams. It's undisputed. You can fucking take your Bob Dylan's and you take your fucking what's his name, and you can fucking fuck off. It's Hank Williams. And then it's probably John Prine after that. Who's the Towns Van Zandt? A lot of people fuck with Towns. Towns got some joints. I like Towns, but I don't like his personal story. So anyway, but that's just me. Anyway, so big up Seth. You won the book from Tribal Publishing. All right, let me try this one.
Hey, what's up, Nick? This is Kyle Wilson from Roanoke, Virginia. To answer your question, be Hank Sr., a long-time listener of the show. Thank you for keeping it going. Much appreciated, man. Appreciate it. Bye.
Kyle, you also are correct. So Seth called in on May 28th. Kyle called in on May 29th. So that's that. Man, I don't know what to do with this fucking phone. Where it'd be like the best place for audio. Again, I'm just gonna assume it's working. You just assume it's working. You know, just like in Austin Powers, when you put the good guy behind the wall with the fucking sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their freaking heads, and you assume that everything goes to plan. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Here we go. Call in number 3.
Hey Nick, my name is Mike, Salt Lake City, Utah, long-time listener, love the show. Just figured I'd call in. We have a lot of connections here in Utah to the great tattooing back east. I have a piece from Marina Inouye that you had just a couple weeks back on the show again. It's cool to hear about her time in Thailand. One thing though that I would love is kind of tying Utah and Richmond and tattooing back east is a person that I've heard you guys admire a lot and that we definitely admire a lot here in Utah, Keith. I'd love to hear him on the show. I don't know what it's going to take to get him to agree to it, but I think it'd be really cool. He's very influential, great person to know, and has some deep roots both in your area and back west here. So if you can get Keith on there, I'd love to hear him. Another thing, just a random thought and idea, not that you need to have any more ideas on how to do your thing, but shop talk on off weeks. I know historically they've been at the end of a great episode where you're talking to somebody, but maybe get those off or get some more things to listen to for those that struggle waiting 2 weeks. It could be cool to have shop talk in the hotline on the same episode rather than the longer traditional podcast setup. So there's that. Big up to you and everything you do. Hope you and your family and your friends are all doing well. If nobody's told you yet, Hank Williams is the greatest songwriter of all time. Have a good one, man. Thank you.
Fucking Mike from Utah. First of all, yes, you're right. Hank Williams is the greatest songwriter of all time. First of all, thank you. I'm glad you dig the show. And there are a lot of connections with Richmond and Salt Lake and a lot of tattoo history. And a lot of the homies from Richmond have done the Salt Lake Convention a bunch over the years. I would love to get Keith on the show. Keith, if you don't know, legendary tattooer in the South, and he's in Atlanta, I think, currently. If you ever saw the NLJBS, like gray shirts with like the green NLJBS kind of graffiti style, but more just stylized, that's Keith. Keith did that for us, and we're forever grateful. He's a tattooer that everyone at Alley Cat Tattoo has admired for a long time. We've got paintings of his hanging in the shop, and of course, like I said, he did that NLJBS for us. I met him through Brian Bruno, so he's got a long time history with Absolute Art as well. And I would love to get Keith on the show. The opportunity has not presented itself. I feel like I was around him fairly often years ago, and then just not as much anymore. But he's a legendary tattooer and great guy. Every time I've been around him, he's been nothing but polite and nothing but nice. And like I said, we've got his stuff hanging in Alley Cat Tattoo. So yeah, big up Keith for sure. As far as shop talk goes, man, I'm just, it's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you. It's kind of embarrassing that I'm not more well organized. I used to, we consistently did that thing, man, forever and ever and ever. But it was before Porter had a son. It was before COVID. It was before I had other business ventures and stuff. And man, it's hard. I've got a 9-year-old getting ready to be 10 and a 12-year-old and a wife. I've got the podcast, I've got Alley Cat Tattoo, and I've got another business, and and then what I want to do, leisure, and try to travel and try to do, you got to feed your soul and all these other things, and then everyone that works with me, I care for deeply, so I try to do stuff with them. I have friends out. Anyway, obviously everyone's busy. I'm no exception, but I would love to have Shop Talk available more often. I would love, sometimes I have it in my head when I do sit down with Andy and Porter to do it. I have it in my head that we're going to be able to sit down and do 4. And if we did 4 and I released them every 2 weeks, then that's 2 months, and that's a tremendous. The last 3 times we've sat down, I thought in my head we'd have 3 or 4. We've gotten 2 each time. There's always something going on. There's guests that I like that. Please don't see any of this or look at any of this as complaining. And for Mike from Salt Lake, like, I don't see it as you telling me what to do. I see it as you appreciating what we do and want more of it. And, I would love to provide that. But as of right now, I'm just doing my best. So, maybe I'll take a poll, or you guys can DM me, or you guys can call the NLJBS hotline. But, maybe I should just put it out with these recordings, or put it out if I have it on an off week instead of just attaching it to the end of the podcast. Who the fuck knows what's the right way to do it? But it is what it is. So, and before I forget, I don't even think, excuse me for, I have, gosh darn it, I don't even know the NLJBS hotline off the top of my head. I've got a picture of me somewhere holding up the number. I don't know where the fuck it is. I'm not cut out for this shit, y'all. I'm not cut out for this shit. Goddamn. I don't know what the fucking number is. Let me see here. Last time. No, it can't be that. It's gotta be. Are you sure? Whenever I do like an intro, if you ever see me on the video, when I look up, I've got it stuck in like a frame of a Reaper by John Henry, and the number's like written in there, and so I can always just look up and see it and recite it. I can recite it. I can write it or recite it off the top of the dome, like my man Big L. But right now, I can't even seem to find this motherfucker. Damn it. Anyway, let me go back to what the fuck I'm doing. So anyway, thank you, Mike from Salt Lake. Get on to the next one.
Hey Nick, this is Derek from North Carolina. I've got a story about a conversation that I had while getting tattooed. So my wife is Italian Jersey girl. We spend some time up there every year, and I was getting tattooed by a fellow who I've heard you refer to as a legend. And I was getting my chest tattooed. So during this conversation, my answers were a little
Yo, Derek from North Carolina, thank you, man. I sincerely appreciate that. You know, I've said it a million times, but I've been doing this for 5, 6, 7, I don't know, fucking long time. It still means a lot to me when folks say that this means a lot to them, that what I do means a lot to them, that they look forward to it, that they hear us talking about tattooers and then get tattooed by those tattooers. I'm pretty sure Derek heard about John Henry on Shop Talk, then got tattooed by John Henry, then the tattoo John Henry did on him got chosen for Shop Talk, and the whole thing is full circle. I'm pretty sure that's Derek. I'm pretty sure. I think he's a screen print guy, North Carolina guy. And I think he's been Alley Cat. Anyway, man, the paint houses thing is amazing. So, if you don't know that reference, in the mob, the way to ask someone if they do hits on people, if they kill people, is do you paint houses? Or I hear you paint houses is the way to put it. But man, if you haven't seen The Irishman and you love mob movies, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. There's a little bit of like CGI stuff that turns De Niro's eyes blue, or that makes those dudes look younger or older, depending on the portion of the movie. I don't give a fuck about none of that. It's a fucking great film. It's a fucking great film. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm drinking Jack and Coke, a little bubbles from my Coke. Anyway, man. I mean, it's Scorsese, Scorsese, De Niro, Pesci, Pacino, the younger dude who played Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire. I can't think of his name, but he's got multiple scenes that are legendary. It's fucking dope. So if you're not familiar with The Irishman, fucking check it out. Now, as far as who I've mentioned as legendary in New Jersey, I'm assuming he means Mike Schweigert, but it doesn't have to be Schweigert. It could have been, Mike Wilson tattoos there. There's a lot of great tattooers in New Jersey. Robert Ryan's in New Jersey. Tom Yak's in New Jersey. Those are electric tattoo guys who are fucking heroes. They're fucking tattoo fucking heroes. But when you say legendary, I'm assuming Mike Schweigert. If Derek, if you're getting tattooed by anybody that I referred to you to, then I'm proud of that. If you're getting tattooed by anybody that you heard about on No Life's Just Bullshit, I'm proud of that. And if you're getting tattooed by Mike fucking Schweigert, then by God, you're doing yourself a solid. Shouts to Derek. Alright, let me see if we can keep it moving. I hope all this shit's recording, and I hope all this shit is working. Alright, keeping it rolling.
Hey Nick, it's buddy Matty Runks from Southern Star Tattoo, beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I wanted to bring up Flash and pricing back in the 90s, earlier in 2000. When I started working for Howie.
Yeah, real quick, Matty Runks is somebody who I've been in contact with for years, and he's into the podcast, and we've become sort of internet friends, but he has done painting for me. He's a fucking, he knows what's up. He street shop life, he has a fucking full grasp of, so I'm stoked to hear this.
Everything was pre-priced. All the Flash had stickers that says 40, 60, 100, 120, whatever it was. Most of the clientele at the time fixed up the walls, but in Philadelphia we had the body chart. That's something Eddie Funk started, I think, in the 70s, where different parts of your body had different price ranges. So if it's blue, the wall price, green, yellow, and red, 25, 50, double. So if you went to kanji for $40 on your chest, your torso, your hand, it's 40 on the wall, but 80 for where you were getting it at. It was a different time back then, and it was pretty interesting to learn that way for pricing tattoos because nothing was really custom. It was just turn and burn off the walls. And I always thought it was pretty interesting to have a very regional thing for the body chart in Philadelphia, maybe from the South Jersey area. But I heard a story once that Eddie Funk in the 70s would go to other shops that opened up outside Chinatown or South Street. And if he didn't have the body chart on your wall, he would just come with a screw gun and just put it on the wall. I could be wrong with that, but I've heard that story before. But it makes sense that, part of your body that's harder to tattoo, like torso or stomach or what have you, would cost double because stretching. And I remember Jeff Cole did one. He's in Edinburgh, Scotland now. Repainted one that's pretty interesting. And then Pat Haney for Valentine, big ups Pat Haney, repainted it. It's an awesome piece of flash. But the body chart, a very regional pricing thing. Suppose I call in, you say something about, something for the podcast. I love your podcast. Thank you so much for all you've done. And I'll see you in Richmond. Big up, Nick. Appreciate it.
Yo, Maddie, my man. That call got me hype. Goddamn, I wish some motherfuckers here. That motherfucker got me hype, yo. Shouts to Maddie. Shouts to Philadelphia. Shouts to fucking Eddie Funk. Shouts to Eric Perfect. Shouts to fucking Steve Tiberi. Shouts to Jason Goldberg. Yo, Philly. Shouts to Sailor Eddie. Philadelphia. I feel like since I'm from the South, I shouldn't call it Philly. I say it because I'm used to the Philly cheesesteak, but I think it's Philadelphia. I don't know why. I'm a fucking weirdo when it comes to words, but yeah, I feel like I shouldn't call it Philly. I feel like I should call it Philadelphia because I'm not from there. But anyway, Philadelphia is a special place, man. I mean, Steve Tiberi. If anybody from Philadelphia that's ever been on No Latches Bullshit, you should go back and listen to their fucking episodes if you haven't. Steve Tiberi, who's a legend. Steve Tiberi, who is, I've said this before, his tattoos invoke the same feeling that Mike Wilson's tattoos invoke, that Kylie Green's tattoos invoke, that Schweiger's tattoos invoke. It has a fucking dangerous fucking feel to it with just a little fucking slight fucking bikery kind of feel to it, man. But yeah, all those cats that have been on Elijah's Bullshit, you need to go back and listen to him. And he mentioned Pat Haney. Yo, big shout out to Pat Haney. Pat Haney's a tattooing motherfucker. I don't know, his Easy Tiger on Instagram is what he was forever. I don't know if that's still his shit now. But yeah, Pat Haney tattoos his fucking ass off. Forever Valentine. Shouts to all those. Shouts to Chris Romolini. Philadelphia is the shit. Now, with that being said, if you are a tattoo enthusiast and you're aware of No Elijah's Bullshit, then you should be aware that there's a bunch of audiobooks by Philadelphia Eddie. Crazy Philadelphia Eddie Funk. I've told a story on here a million times about when I met Eddie. I'm not going to do it right now, but yeah. This motherfucker was instrumental in the fucking, the man, East Coast tattooing. I'm at a loss for words. Philadelphia Eddie, crazy Philadelphia Eddie, was just a fucking pillar in Philadelphia tattooing, in Northeast tattooing, in East Coast tattooing, and he's got countless stories. Legendary figure, wild man, crazy motherfucker, dressed crazy, looked crazy, crazy hair. His voice was crazy. Everything about him, and it's something that you don't see in tattooing quite as much. A lot of motherfuckers look like me, fat guys in black t-shirts, but Eddie was different, man. He'd be wearing loud yellow suits and have his hair like in this fucking spike in the front, man, and his voice kind of like this, and him motherfucker was the shit. He did so much. And there was what they call tattoo wars in Philadelphia. Motherfuckers going to war over territory. And Steve Tiberi, what I was trying to say a minute ago, Steve Tiberi said on this podcast that the only reason he's tattooing is because they needed more soldiers in the Philadelphia tattoo wars. That's how he got picked up. Before that, I don't know what he was doing for a living, but he was playing punk rock music, and he was probably just being a bad motherfucker. And goddamn, I love Steve Tiberi, man. This motherfucker knows. I just can't overstate how dope he is. But anyway, big shouts to Maddie. Anyway, I never even got to it. So the pricing chart, if you're not familiar, or if you didn't understand or pick up what he was saying, is everything in that era, mid 80s to mid 90s, let's just say, and depending on regionally where you were, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, every single piece on the wall had a little sticker next to it with a price on it. And that was the price, right? So people weren't getting that much custom stuff, and people weren't getting big work. What they were getting was they were coming in and they were looking at the walls. They'd pick a piece. This is the piece for me. I want the crawling panther on my forearm. It says 120. What he's saying is, then you would look at the chart. If you wanted the crawling panther on your chest, if you wanted it on your hand, if you wanted it on your stomach or whatever, you would look at the chart and it would say add 25, add 50, or double the price. So if it's 120 on your forearm, but you want it on your stomach, then it's going to be 240 because of how difficult it is to tattoo a stomach or a lower back or wherever you choose to put it. And like Maddie said, it was a regional thing. That shit wasn't everywhere. But once you implement that in Philadelphia, you can't have motherfuckers price gouging. You can't have motherfuckers undercutting. Like, you know, to be reasonable, everyone needs to be pricing things in a similar manner, or else everyone gets fucked to some extent. You know, you can't do shit. You can't have a $50 minimum, especially in Philadelphia where motherfuckers are getting initials and names like crazy. You can't have a $50 minimum for a fucking 5-letter script name, and then 2 blocks over there's a $30 minimum. You cannot have that. You know what I'm saying? Because not only do you get fucked, but the $30 place can't fucking keep up. Although they want to, they're most likely no-count slimy motherfuckers who are just trying to cut you out. But what they end up doing is fucking the public and you, because they can't keep up with the demand of the amount of motherfuckers who want a 5-letter script name for $30. You understand what I'm saying? So what they do is they implement a system like that. And like he said, Eddie was going in shops, and if you didn't have a motherfucker on a wall, he's just putting it on the wall and fucking screwing that motherfucker in. You know, shouts to Philadelphia Eddie. Fucking maniac. So, big up, Maddie. Thank you so much for that fucking call. Big up, Philadelphia Tattooing. You know, it's so important to the history of tattooing. You know, I've been talking a little bit back and forth with Sailor Eddie. Sailor Eddie's been on the show before. I need to get him down to Alley Cap. He and I have been talking just about how things are and how things used to be. And I'm not one of these fucking dinosaurs who are like, fuck the young tattooers or this, that, and the third. Never, ever. But I am nostalgic. I do like the way things used to be. And I like talking to guys like Eddie about it. And so does Maddie, obviously. So big up, Maddie Rocks. Fucking dope. Good call, Maddie. God damn. All right, I'm going to keep it moving, y'all. I'm fucking hyped now. Oh, shit. Let me start that over.
Cody from Jackson, Mississippi, calling in again. Just wanted to tell another quick tattoo story. So, January 2019, I decided to try to catch a walk-in from Chris Ken. Drove up from D.C. to Denton, Maryland. I've been tattooed by him at the Knoxville Convention in previous August. Got a beautiful Buddha rose on my right neck from him. I don't want to do something on the other side to kind of balance it out. So, drove up, got lucky, and was the only customer in the shop that morning, and got another red rose from him, kind of a similar but different size. And just a great time. We got to shoot the shit, had a great conversation, got a great tattoo, didn't hurt that bad, and ended up taking me out to the local Irish pub afterwards for some lunch. We continued just kind of hanging out. And I don't remember if I learned either on the way or once I got there, but it was the 1-year anniversary of Mike's passing. I know that Ken and Mike were good friends, so I'd like to think that I got to brighten Ken's day just a little bit on what was, I assume, pretty sad day for him. I'd like to think so anyways. Yeah, appreciate you listening. I'll call again soon. Bye.
Yo, big up to Cody from Jackson, Mississippi for calling back in. Man, R.I.P. Mike Fight. Big, big, big shout out and all the love in the world to Cookie Ken, man. Ken just had a birthday also, by the way, 2-3 days ago. Ken, I don't know how old he was, but I saw it all over Instagram. And the reason I saw it all over Instagram is because Ken is loved and well respected. Cookie Ken is just a cool motherfucker, man. You know, I went up there to his shop to record with him, and this man welcomed me with open arms. I didn't know him. We had mutual friends, but I wanted him to participate in my podcast. I wanted to sit and hear his shit, his bullshit, and I wanted to go into his shop, and it looks like a tattoo shop, and it feels like a tattoo shop, and it's not big, but it's real fly, and there's a bunch of fucking original flash, and it has a feel to it that's like, it doesn't remind me, but it makes me think that it feels like Coleman's joint in Norfolk, you know what I'm saying, fucking 100 years ago. Not 100, long time ago. Big shouts to Ken and his whole family. I didn't know Mike fight well. I met him a couple times, but my brother Andrew had mad respect for him, and I know that my buddy Jay Smalley had mad respect for him, and Doc Cooper down in Tennessee had mad love for him, and big shout to Josh Fracker too. He mentioned the Knoxville convention. Josh Fracker is the fucking man, and he came and did tattoos at Alley Cat, and he's tight with Crooked Ken. And I'm just happy to know those dudes. Those dudes have a feel to, like a classic, just like, I don't know, when you're around them, it just feels like old time tattooing, man. It feels like classic stuff, and I'm grateful for that. That's a good feeling. And I love I just love that they put off that energy. And I've said this before. It took me too goddamn long to really love and appreciate and realize like traditional American tattoos and how dope they were, and how difficult it is to do something that's understated and done well. And Ken and Josh Fracker and Jay Smalley and a lot of those cats, they do it. I also want to say, just because I'm talking about Jay Smalley, shouts to Jesse Struthers, my brother. So that's that. I've been drinking too much Jack Daniels, y'all. Alright, I'm going to keep it going. Then we got 2 more calls, alright? And I think the last one, it looks like it says it goes to 3 minutes, which means they probably got cut off. I remember somebody DM'd me and said they got cut off. But let's do this guy right here first.
Hey guys, my name is Morgan. I'm from Indiana. I've been a listener for a while now. First off, I wanted to really just appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's fucking awesome. Your podcast is especially motivational for when I'm drawing or painting, and I'm thankful for y'all. I do have a pretty gnarly story from the first shop I started at. I'm not going to mention any names or town names or anything like that because I don't want my mentor to get repercussions for it. But, we had this kid who was probably like 16 or 17 years old who would hang out in the shop. And he's just like a wild type of kid who would do anything. So we would all get him to do stupid shit for money. Granted, this was like 4 years ago. But one day, we asked him to eat an entire sheet of purple stencil paper in under 5 minutes for $40. He eats it all. His mouth and teeth are so beyond stained and black, purple. But it gets better. My mentor at the time told him to wash it down with a rinse cup from another tattooer who's currently tattooing somebody, might I mention. And he drank the entire rinse cup. I'll never forget it, and every time I use the rinse cup, I'm forever haunted by that memory. But I hope you guys enjoy this unhinged story, and thanks for all the podcasts over the couple of years, and hope you guys have a great day.
Yo, shouts to Morgan in Indiana, yo. First of all, first female call in. Thank you, baby. Appreciate it. Love it. I always want to, I hope I have, a fair amount of female fans or listeners or whatever, supporters. And I always want to get more female guests on. So thank you, Morgan. If you're ever in the same place, we'll do a podcast as me. You know what, man? That's just fucking the way it goes. Sometimes there's motherfuckers that want to hang around and they want to fucking shoot a fucking rinse cup and maybe get a deal on a tattoo later. They want to eat a sheet of Thermofax and hopefully, get $50 off their next tattoo. And that's okay. That's the way it fucking goes. This is tattooing. This ain't fucking Candyland. Sometimes you want to fuck off and someone wants to prove they're a fucking knucklehead. Let them fucking prove it. Nobody was harmed in the eating of that fucking Thermofax paper. I fucking love it, yo. Alley Cat, fortunately, is busy to the point now that we're not able to fuck off that much. But when we opened the first fucking 5 years, 4 or 5 years of fucking Alley Cat, yo, we were fucking off all the time. We were fucking shaving motherfuckers' eyebrows. We were waxing motherfuckers' eyebrows off. We were fucking piercing people's fucking eyebrows with fucking, 12 gauge, 1 inch fucking the bead rings and shit so they could get $20 off a tattoo. We were fucking wild, shooting dice, fucking talking shit, We weren't hurting nobody, but we was fucking acting a fool and wilding out. And you know what? That's part of the game sometimes. That's how the game goes sometimes. And I fucking love that part of the game. So big ups to Morgan. Thank you so much for sharing that story. Like I said, I would never hurt nobody or haze nobody in a way that they couldn't come back from. But just some fuckery, some bullshit, why not? Fuck it, why not? You know what I'm saying? I was telling the ladies that work for me, the young girls that run the front of Alley Cat, I shouldn't say they're in their 20s, but the girls that run the front of Alley Cat, I was talking to them the other day about how the first couple of years was just fucking crazy, you know what I'm saying? A couple strippers from West Virginia show up, they want to get pierced or whatever, they want to get tattooed. All of a sudden, they're like really having a good time. They're like, oh, lock the door, we'll practice a little bit. That's just the way of the game sometimes. That's how it used to go sometimes. Then nobody got hurt. It wasn't nothing funny. It wasn't nothing but, they're like, oh, we here at your work. You come to our work before. Now we're here at your work, and just silliness. People, like I said, shooting dice, fucking people be like, yo, I want to get this $200 tattoo, but I only got $140. I'm like, okay, let's shave your eyebrows off and see what happens. Whatever it may be. Just fun shit. So, yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes, man. If you can't take it, fucking bounce. Alright, shouts to Morgan. I fucking love it. Alright, I got one more. Like I said, it goes to 3 minutes, so it might cut off. We'll see what happens.
Hey Nick, man, this is Josh calling. Josh from Ohio. I was on the last hotline, and my first question about some of the misconceptions, or I think we use the word romanticism or romanticizing of traditional American tattooing. That was really vague. I know you had asked if I could call back and elaborate a little bit. It was more kind of general things, and I think a lot of it probably stemmed definitely pre-internet, before a lot of people could get information, so I think it was, for instance, before people could really see old S&W catalogs, or the Zeiss stuff, or some of the old Wagner ads, and be like, oh, that's what they had. There's this thought of, I think Eric Perfect, when he was on, nailed it really well, where there's this thing with traditional tattooing where people would just use these gigantic lines now, and it's that's the way it's supposed to be done, but that's not the way it was done. You can, to anybody who was kind of taught wrong, that you have to use these gigantic lines, it's in the day of hyper information, you've got, I think Rich Fi from R&D in Queens put out the sit down that have a lot of those old New York City guys, and they're talking about working with type 5s, and you can't get more traditional than you're talking Brooklyn Blackie and a lot of those guys, the Moskowitz brothers and all them. And also, you probably wouldn't be using giant needles back then because you're making them by hand, and it was definitely more kind of assembly. I don't want to say assembly line in a negative way, but you hear these stories of these old Bowery guys, and they're lined up, or old military bases, and they're lined up for a block. So I don't think a lot of these people were particularly making giant things, or when they talk about these giant lines or giant pieces, it's anybody can go buy an old acetate, and you see a lot of detail carved into those acetates, and anybody with some knowledge could be like, oh yeah, you're not really going to use giant lines for that, stuff like that. Or these rules of colors I've heard, and again, this may not be everybody's experience, but buzz around that have been in for a while. Like, these old guys never used white. Well, if you go and look at these old catalogs you could order from, white was definitely a color. And, you know, a really good piece to look at is you look at tribal skin flicks, the first.
Alright, my man got cut off again. I guess what he means by the romanticizing traditional tattooing is sort of making it seem like tough guy working class shit, and people nowadays sort of, like he said, you know, trying to build a tattoo that looks like something that they saw in the 90s that was done in the 70s. I could be misconstruing that, but I think that's what he means. And so what he was talking about with Eric Perfect saying is that those tattoos eventually looked that way. They weren't, those fat lines weren't present when the tattoo was applied. The tattoo eventually looked that way. In regards to the Rich Fi thing, you're talking about New York tattoos, those, like the old Flash that you see, was drawn in a way that was, and please don't misunderstand me, I'm not the authority. I'll call Rich Fi if you want me to. But, you know, it was drawn in a way that it could be done quickly and age well. So it was like open enough to, you could do a quick fucking outline, a couple quick colors, and then as that aged, it would sort of fill out a little bit. Matter of fact, it doesn't always work, but I'm gonna fucking call Rich Fi right now. He might not answer, but he might answer, so we'll see what happens. I'm a lucky guy that I even have this fucking guy's number. Rich Fi, let's see what happens. If you don't answer, Rich, it's nothing personal. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I know you're a busy New York guy. Queens against everybody or some shit like that. Richie? Bruh, I don't think it's an answer, friends. Am I gonna get lucky?
Please leave your message for 71.
I won't do that, but yo, shouts to Rich Fi. Maybe I'll have him call in next time and he can elaborate. So yo, that was a bunch of calls. Shout to Seth. Seth won the In the Shadows book from Tribal Publishing. Go to tribalpublishing.com and get your copy right fucking now. This is a major book. Clayton Patterson's been documenting New York tattoos. Not just like you know, I think he put on the first Evita art show, and when I say he's been documenting for a very long time, I don't mean just tattooers doing tattoos, but I mean like him taking photographs of tattoos on people on the streets in the Lower East Side, everywhere, forever. Anyway, shouts to Tribal Publishing. Thank you guys all so much. I'm sorry I can't remember the fucking phone number. I couldn't find it in my phone. I don't even know if this motherfucker's gonna come. If the audio, you know, obviously my goal is to fucking get the audio. If the audio doesn't come out, I have this video, so I'll post it. But big thank you to everyone who called in. Great fucking calls, great submissions, and it's getting better. I just talked to Wrath. He said he's gonna start calling again. It's only gonna get better if you guys participate. And when I say you guys participate, I mean you. If you love this show, you know, Matty Runks called in. I mean, this motherfucker is a street shop hero. You know, if motherfuckers call in, if you call in, then it's just gonna get more and more dope, yo. Shouts to my first lady caller, Morgan. Thank you so much. And man, I'm grateful. No, I just bullshit forever. Alright, get that sent off. Got that wrapped up. I love y'all. I'm about to go watch some Sopranos and drink some more of this fucking... I'm definitely gonna finish this and maybe drink some more. Shouts to all y'all.